around
Okay.
and capture all the appropriate angles that are best. So imagine that you're looking at it in a way that you want to see what's best for you. So just like get as close as you need to, and I recommend like zooming in on some of the small elements because they get a little complex.
Okay.
Remember that when we go to the cross family, all of a sudden everything will be happening on that side.
Please walk around.
Yeah.
Angles.
Camera motion's better than like zooms and stuff. Okay. Let me know when you're.
I'm started.
Okay. Great. I'm sitting in front of my partner. Both of us have our feet planted and our hands on the mat. Whoever's feet are between the other person's feet has what's called inside position. The goal is to obtain inside position. To get to inside position, I scoot close and I draw a circle in the air with my toe, and I go inside the foot, above the line of the knee, past the thigh, and I flex the foot back. Same thing happens here. Pummel the foot inside, stretch past, and pull the feet tight. Because the feet are tight and flexed backwards on the shoelaces, I can use it to slide myself in or out. I get slid in or out at the appropriate distance to hold a heel in what we call a heel cup, and to cross grip on the thigh above the knee. And in that place, I can stretch my leg, slide my hips close to his, put my foot in the hip, close my heel and knee together. That's called the clamshell. The heel and ankle are held into my rib cage by my elbow. I'm not trying to pull up on the foot, I'm trying to crush in. And then I don't lay on my side, I lay over my side with my forehead on the mat. And that's called the straight standard ashi. Straight family because his leg is pointed straight at me. Standard because the standard foot position is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Nana will begin to defend this by pushing the foot out of the hip. And when he does, I've lost that foot, which means it now needs to be replaced. I replace that foot with my inside foot. I might need to scoot back, place the foot over, and then scoot myself back in, and again close the clamshell. Now I'm in the same position I was before, but we have a new name for this because the foot position has changed. We're still in the straight family, but we are in outside ashi, so this is called straight outside ashi garami. This is not that secure. So to make it secure, I slide even closer. I stretch both legs, and then the bottom leg, which is the entwining leg, is called the dominant ashi leg. The top leg, which is just the controlling leg, is going to protect the dominant leg. So I hide this foot, my dominant leg foot, behind my top leg knee, and then I try to bury that entire structure behind his back, because if I leave it in front, he may be able to open it. And again, I'm not on my side, I need to be over my side. I'm twisting and torquing the leg and pinning the leg to the mat with my rib cage. Don't forget that a leg has 3 sections. Section 1 is the toes to the heel. Section 2 is the heel to the knee. Section 3 is the knee to the hip. All 3 sections of the leg must be completely controlled in order to have a dominant ashi game. Now, as the ashi game advances and we enter straight standard ashi garami, a more skilled opponent not only pushes the foot out of the hip, but he sits over the foot. This places both of my feet in the inside position, and I no longer have any control over his leg other than section 1. That's not sufficient. So I need to get his leg back between my knees so that I can do an appropriate clamshell. I therefore reach over and I dig into the hip, and I use this to pull myself up into the air, head down, hips up. Do not lift the head. Most critical mistake people make here is they lift the head. Put the head down to make the hips light. And as you rotate over, glue your elbow to your rib cage. The goal here should be that my partner's leg inverts, the kneecap is on the ground, and the sole of the foot goes into the air. There we are. This is called inverted ashi. It's essentially an upside down version of straight standard, you see? I'm still straight legged because the leg is pointed straight at me. 1 leg over, 1 leg out, 1 leg in. That's the standard foot position. So that is the inverted family. That's based on the person's defense of sitting over the foot. Another layer of defense the person can use is they grab the clamshell and they open it. When they do that, they can pedal this leg in, make a wedge, and now they can free themselves, or they can go to ashi on me. Big problem. Can't let that happen. So, to prevent that from happening, when I've established straight standard and they open the clamshell, I will follow them. I will roll from this hip, which is where I'm lying, across the glute line to the other hip, he's going to lead me. You see, he opens, and I follow my other hip. Both of my feet go inside his thigh. Why? Because 95+% of any leg lock defense comes from the second leg that's not yet under control. So we dominate this leg. As we are dominating this leg, he might lay back to make his leg light and start pummeling the leg. So I'm going to stick my foot under the knee and float the leg and keep it off the ground. This gives me a moment to square my hips. And now I can pull my knees to my chest and get his leg in range. Then I can dominate his leg and step over the bottom half, cross my feet, pinch my knees again, and fall back to my side. When my opponent's leg floats high on my ribcage like this is called high altitude ashi. In the initial construction, when I was in straight standard, I was pinning my opponent's leg to the mat. That's called a low altitude ashi. This particular position is called the Russian love knot, and it originated from straight inside control. So it's just a tying version to control the opponent's legs. The next layer of defense the opponent puts upon us is they sit up and they're able to grab my head or my arm. They are able to do this because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, right? I was supposed to sit down all the way over my side and put my forehead on the mat. But because I did the ashi incorrectly and sat up, they grabbed me. And because they grabbed me, they can now stretch the leg through the back. The leg suddenly is too long. There's too much depth. And therefore I can't appropriately apply the radius bone of my inner forearm to the Achilles. So there's no lock. In that position, I'm going to transfer the leg to the other side. The problem is the leg is too long. We're going to shorten the leg. How do we shorten the leg? First, we open a channel for the leg to pass through. So I stretch the arm and I lay on the leg. No one likes that. He's probably going to start to pull the leg out. As he does, I'm waiting with the hand to catch. And I stay on my side. I don't roll to my back. I drag the leg across the body, and now the second hand can help shove the toes into the armpit. And then I drop the elbow straight down, 12-6, so that I can control the foot in the armpit. This position we've now entered is a new family of ashi called the cross family, because the leg has traveled across my body. My foot position is the same. One foot in, one side out, one foot out, so this is called standard position, so we are in cross standard ashi garami. The defenses here are the same. He's going to push the foot out. When he pushes the foot out, I step over, and I end up in cross outside ashi garami. And now if I wanted to lock the outside ashi garami more tightly, I could slide in, stretch my legs, and make a senkaku, and bury that senkaku behind his back. And now I'm in cross outside senkaku, right? From the cross position, there is no pushing the foot through the back, because that makes more tension on the leg, and it makes it easier to twist the leg. So he's never going to put extra tension on the leg. The goal for him here is to relax that leg and try to defend it using the second leg. So when this happens, we have issues, right? One of the things he might do is grab the clamshell and open it. Now we already know what to do when the person opens a clamshell. We roll from hip to hip, and we go to the opposite side, and we control the inner thigh. The problem is I'm losing control of this leg as that happens. So what we're waiting for is to see if he's going to sit up and try to grab my legs, or lay back and start to pummel his leg. If he sits up, it makes his leg low, you see? So I'll just cross the senkaku over his leg. Look, I'll straighten my legs and go over his far leg, and I'll close a triangle over the leg. Repinch, slide back on my rib cage, chop down on the toes with the armpit, and expose my palm upward for the eventual lock. We're just looking at positions now, not finishes, right? That all happened because we were in standard cross ashi garami, and then he opened the clamshell. So now he lays back, right? And he uses the leg to pummel. So now we're going to wedge the leg the same way. And as we fall to the side, to keep the foot in high altitude position, we cross the senkaku behind his leg. This has the added advantage sometimes of being able to use the senkaku to push the leg across to the far side, and we can gather the leg close, close the senkaku, and bury his leg under our knee, and then just cap the top of the foot here. If I don't cap the foot, he can pull the foot out. Now this is not like any kind of show of strength, this is just the mechanics and physics of this position. With the foot stuck under the knee, with just the lightest touch, it really does eliminate any possibility of extraction. Senkaku also controls this position in a locked fashion. So that is cross inside ashi garami with a rear Senkaku position play. All right, and that's the entire ashi drum.